In a development that has drawn intense scrutiny from national security experts, NPR has reported that the White House has quietly embarked on the search for a new Secretary of Defense to succeed Pete Hegseth. This initiative follows revelations that Mr. Hegseth, who has held the position since late 2023, may have compromised classified military plans through private messaging platforms. According to a New York Times investigation, Secretary Hegseth was at the center of a Signal chat controversy uncovered over the past weekend. The report indicates that at least 2 separate group conversations included detailed flight schedules for FA-18 Hornet missions targeting Houthi forces in Yemen. So, those mission outlines, intended for the Department of Defense's operational planning team, were inadvertently shared with individuals lacking the requisite security clearance. One cache of messages, relayed on the same day, included not only senior Pentagon staff, but also the editor of The Atlantic, who had been mistakenly added to the thread. The disclosure of operational timetables, particularly for a conflict zone, raises pressing questions about the integrity of secure communication channels within the Defense Department. Complicating the matter further is the involvement of Mr. Hegseth's immediate circle. Aww. His wife, Jennifer Hegseth, formerly a producer at Fox News, has no official role in the Pentagon, but has accompanied her husband to meetings with foreign leaders, drawing censure for her proximity to sensitive discussions. Additionally, Mr. Hegseth's brother, Phil Parloratori, and his personal attorney, Tim Parloratori, both employed by the department, were recipients of the same classified exchanges. Pentagon spokespeople have struggled to articulate why these family members would require advanced knowledge of impending operations against the Houthis. The Signal revelations have reignited debates about selective outrage in political discourse. Critics on the right have accused the media of disproportionate attention to Hunter Biden's business dealings, while remaining muted over similar leaks from Republican officials. This incident tests the consistency of such critiques and underscores the intensity of partisan reactions to allegations of compromised national security. In response to the controversy, Secretary Hegseth delivered remarks at the White House Easter egg roll. Defending his tenure, he lambasted a handful of leakers and major news outlets for perpetuating hoaxes tied to anonymous sources. He accused the press of failing to return Pulitzers awarded for reporting on Russia collusion narratives, decrying what he described as a slash-and-burn approach to political figures. His address emphasized his commitment to empowering warfighters and framed the scandal as a distraction orchestrated by disgruntled former employees. Notably absent from Secretary Hegseth's statements was a categorical denial of the underlying claims that he knowingly shared classified operational plans with unauthorized recipients. Instead, he leveraged vivid imagery of children at a public event to reinforce his narrative of political persecution. Observers have pointed out that deflecting through media criticism without addressing the substance of the allegations leaves unresolved doubts about his judgment in handling top-secret information. Despite the glare of controversy, White House officials have publicly reaffirmed their support for Mr. Hegseth. A senior spokesperson highlighted the Defense Department's recruitment achievements, purportedly the strongest in nearly 3 decades, as evidence of his effective leadership. He was tasked with rooting out bad actors, the statement read, and he is delivering on that mission. Questions from anonymous sources on old incidents do not diminish his record. Yet within the Pentagon, murmurs of resistance have grown louder for a while. Some senior officers suggest that systematic opposition to Hegseth's reform agenda has prompted leaks to the press. This internal friction has given rise to 2 competing theories. Either the entire US military establishment is inherently corrupt, with Hegseth as its lone reformer, or Secretary Hegseth himself has breached trust so flagrantly that his colleagues are compelled to expose it. Historical analogies lend further perspective. During the Clinton administration, it was alleged that staffers printed sensitive State Department emails via non-secure channels, handing them off to support personnel for distribution outside secure networks. Security experts note that such actions would typically result in immediate dismissal and potential criminal charges for recklessness with classified material. Leading voices in the intelligence community now insist that any official who disseminates classified war plans to unauthorized parties must face the same standards of accountability. They underscore that security clearances are predicated on absolute adherence to a need-to-know principles. A single breach can jeopardize lives and erode alliances formed on the basis of confidential intelligence sharing. Looking ahead, administration officials must decide whether Secretary Hegseth's continued presence at the Pentagon will undermine broader defense objectives. Possibilities include retaining him in office until media attention subsides or initiating formal proceedings to remove him on grounds of compromised operational security. Either path carries significant political and strategic risks. Prolonging his tenure may fuel perceptions of impunity, while his abrupt departure could signal internal discord at the highest levels of national defense. As this report demonstrates, the integrity of secure communication within the Department of Defense is not merely an administrative concern, but a cornerstone of US military effectiveness. But the resolution of these questions will shape not only the future of Secretary Hegseth's career, but also the public's confidence in the institutions charged with protecting national security. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have signalled an interest in convening oversight hearings to examine the Department of Defense's secure messaging protocols and the Secretary's role in recent disclosures. Senior members of the Senate Armed Services Committee have already requested documentation on internal guidelines governing a need-to-know classification procedures. Should these hearings proceed, witnesses may include former National Security Council officials and cybersecurity experts tasked with safeguarding operational data. Their testimony could illuminate whether systemic weaknesses enabled the signal chat leaks or whether individual judgment failures lie at the heart of the debate. At the same time, legal scholars are evaluating potential avenues for criminal referral. Under the Espionage Act, unauthorized retention or transmission of national defense information can carry severe penalties, including fines and imprisonment. While historical precedent suggests that high-ranking officials often escape prosecution, several retired intelligence officers have argued publicly that accountability must be equitable, regardless of rank, to preserve the deterrent effect of classification laws. If prosecutors determine that Secretary Hegseth's disclosures meet the statutory threshold for willful negligence, the Justice Department may face pressure to open an inquiry. International partners are already watching developments closely. Coalition members engaged in the Yemen campaign rely on tightly coordinated intelligence sharing. A perceived breakdown in US information security could erode trust among allied commands and complicate joint operations. Middle Eastern diplomats, speaking on condition of anonymity, caution that adversarial actors may exploit any rift in coalition cohesion. For those working in theatre, the integrity of flight schedules and targeting data is not an abstraction, but a matter of force protection. And mission success. Domestically, public confidence in national security stewardship has taken a hit. Independent polling indicates a decline in approval ratings for the administration's defense management, with a majority of respondents expressing concern over information leaks. Veteran service organizations have issued statements emphasizing that the rank-and-file military does not condone breaches of classified protocols. Many retired flag officers, previously supportive of Hegseth's reform agenda, are now urging a transparent investigation to reaffirm the sacred trust between civilian leadership and uniformed personnel. Finally, the Pentagon faces a broader institutional reckoning. Beyond the immediate question of a cabinet-level replacement, senior defense officials must reassess training programs on digital compartmentalization and revise guidelines for personal device usage. The rapid proliferation of encrypted messaging platforms has outpaced existing policy frameworks, leaving gaps that bad actors, to well-intentioned family members, can inadvertently exploit. Task forces are reportedly drafting new directives to standardize secure communications across all branches of the armed forces. As this multifaceted inquiry unfolds, one question remains central. Can the Department of Defense restore both operational security and public trust? The answer will hinge on the White House's willingness to pursue accountability over loyalty, legislators' commitment to bipartisan oversight, and the Pentagon's capacity to reform entrenched practices. Whether Pete Hegseth retains his post or becomes the first secretary in decades to face dismissal amid scandal, the episode will leave an indelible mark on how America's military safeguards its most sensitive plans, and how it balances transparency with security in the digital age. Woods.